Hello folks. Well, I sure hope you watch all the way to the end because I think you will find me flying the Supersonic Transport plus the EC-130 helicopter quite interesting. Well, if you're a full-scale pilot, you're going to want to fly Icarus's full-scale simulator for sure. Now, I've flown all the FS simulators there are, including Microsoft's, and I thought FS2 was amazing as it was. There is no FS3 if you are wondering, but with FS4 it's overwhelmingly realistic. There are so many things I could talk about that are new, I can't mention them all. But realistically, the sounds, the way the aircraft feels, plus moving cars, other airplanes flying and landing around you, plus locations all over the US and Switzerland really make it fabulous. So what I'm showing you here are screenshots that are really easy to take. Aerofly FS4 has a really easy interface to make any key you want to work various items that may not be able to do on a transmitter. So if you don't have enough channels, you can do that. These include landing lights, taxi lights, panel lights, engine mixture, autopilot, landmarks, info, radar maps, and many, many more. I set my F11 key to take the screenshots within the program, but if you're flying on steam-powered, F12 takes the screenshots with ease there as well. Not only do the planes fly realistically, at least the real ones that I've flown in, there are amazing ground graphics and buildings that are located just like on a map. Well, I'm running Windows 10 on an HP with an NVIDIA 4G video card, and it handles most areas I want to fly in just fine. However, if you find any jerkiness in the ground stuff, you can turn that down in the graphics easily to smooth things out. Low, medium, high, and ultra. So for me, flying is also about looking around at the scenery and the stuff on the ground, so I like that it is very high definition. Again, I mentioned that there are other planes flying around and I have the trace turned on so I can see them easier. I can also turn on their transponders, which gives altitude and speed, etc. I find it really fun to wait for one of them to take off in front of me and I follow it. I also like catching up and passing them in flight. All times of the day can be set, and I love flying in the dark. It's fun to look for lighted runways and airports to land at. Wind and clouds can also be adjusted. Also, as you can see, I can fly outside or inside the plane as pilot, co-pilot, or sit in the back seat, as all views are possible by pressing keys 1 through 6. Every angle of your aircraft can be seen while flying. Everything can be zoomed in or out effortlessly, and I'm just having fun with it for sure. There are airports all over the world you can fly in. There are jets, old planes, twins, 4 engines, helicopters, gliders, something for everyone. If you fly with Oculus headset, you will be totally immersed and find this whole new experience. And for only $59, sure was worth it for me for sure. I'll tell you that it took 6.2 hours to download the program, so even with my high-speed optical internet, you gotta be patient. And fun, because it took 12.6 hours in order for me to make the shots for this video. Of course, I love flying many of the planes and find they are much more difficult than RC, that's for sure. So I'm going to show you some of the glimpses of what you may see and experience in this simulator, and of course the amazing Concorde Super Sonic Transport. First, put your seat backs in the full upright positions and lock the trays closed. Right now I'm just showing you some of my favorite planes and helis while I'm flying, and then I'm going to show you that SST. First off, I'm really blown away with the realism of the planes, the cockpits, and the scenery. Just about every flight control in the cockpit can be activated with the mouse button, and if you're flying VR or on an Oculus, you can move the dials, switches, and controls with your hands. Otherwise, using your own 8 or above transmitter with a wireless dongle is really easy, as much of that stuff can be controlled by it. Otherwise, you have the option, and many functions can be controlled with the keys that you assign on your keyboard, such as land location, lights, brakes, reverse thrusters, the amazing views of the aircraft from inside the plane, including back seat, cockpit, external, behind, VFR, and so much more. In fact, before I flew the Concorde, I had to look at the help guide that explains how to actually start this thing up and operate the aircraft from pre-flight to landing. It's absolutely magnificent. This is also a full-size helicopter sim with several helicopters and very realistic, and it will certainly give a sense of real flying, especially if you're flying on a large monitor. I'm using a 55-inch monitor, and believe me, when I try to land that supersonic transport, even with that big, I find it quite a chore to line up and land. I was sweating. It's that intense. I mean, you got a lot of people on board, so you can't crash. Also, this SST may be fast, but at slow speed with the nose dropped, it's a sled. The nose drop is done via my transmitter. It's drooped so the pilots can see where they're going at slow speed to be able to see the runway. And when you take off, and after reaching the speed where the nose could get ripped off, you get multiple warnings to raise the nose and windshield protector. The SST doesn't have any flaps, so I used the switch that I usually control flaps to control my nose droop. I also like to cut the engines and see if I can land dead stick somewhere. It's good practice. Okay, I've selected the SST. Here we go. Here I'm trooping the nose so I can see the runway on takeoff and landing. All protected for speed now, and if you take a look on the Mach indicator there, that's the second one down on the left under the airspeed. That's showing a little bit over 2 Mach, and we'll go into cruise now, and now this is about 1.2 Mach on your dial.
1,000.
Feels so heavy, like our Phantoms were.
100 above. Minimum 50, 30, 20, 1.
When I hit the brakes, you can hear the wheels sliding and squealing, and it also has reverse thrusters. Okay, let's try another landing. We're down here actually a little bit west of San Diego at Coronado. We're going to land on a different runway. Just to show you the different views you can do, and also you can, of course, change the time of day, the wind, everything. I mean, well, this A380 is easier to land, but there's so many people yelling at me.
Too low, gear.
100 above.
Speed, too low, flaps. Speed.
Minimum
Speed up. Speed.
60,
Pull
40,
up.
20. Retard, retard.
So thanks very much for flying with me tonight, and hope you enjoyed the flights. I encourage you all to look on Steam Powered website to see the details, even if you're an RC pilot, because this will test you and you're going to love it. And only $59 for this great entertainment. Love flying all over the place, and I could really get there pretty fast in this SST. So this is Dave the Night Flyer, signing off for now.